Good morning to everyone. Once again, this is Pastor Benee, and I would like to greet you a wonderful day in the presence of our God. And today, I would like to share to you one of the God's promises that we can find in the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 28 up to verses 30. And it says, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon me and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." It's really such a wonderful thing to realize that the wonderful promises of God for all of us who are in this present world, who are currently experiencing a great distress and weariness and burden because of the present crisis that we're having right now. And going back to the promises of the Lord, more than 2,000 years ago, God has promised that one day in this present world, we're going to experience this. And it's so fascinating to realize that even before all these crises and all these problems and world crises that we're having right now, the promises of the Lord has been given even before it comes. And because of the great knowledge of God, and because of the omniscience and the omnipresence and the omnipotent power of God, He actually prepared the solutions for whatever kind of situations that we're having right now. And it clearly says that for those who are heavily and weary and burdened right now, God has a promise for you right now, wherever you are right now. I think a lot of people, whether you got everything that you need or everything that concerns you right now, whether in terms of the health crisis and because of these pandemic situations that we are suffering right now, the promises of the Lord stands in our midst today. And the promise of the Lord is so clear, and it says, "I will give you rest." Si Lord ay meron isang pangako ang kapahingahan. God has given and a promise rest and a promise kind of calmness in the midst of the storms, in the midst of heaviness and being burdened in everything that you are having right now. And having a look at the promise of Matthew 11:28, there's a one key. The one key that God is giving on this one is, the first thing we have to do is take the yoke of God upon us and learn from me. Learn from God. For I'm gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest. Mga kapatid, the only way that we can find rest and we can find security in all these troubles we're having right now, the first one we have to do is to take the yoke of God upon us. For some people, maybe you don't have any idea what yoke means or what the yoke looks like. It is like a wooden carve that basically it connects and made a unions between two buffalo or two horses or two donkey, that you have to put it in a cart that will be carried by these two buffaloes. The meaning for this is meaning to say that God will be on the other side of the yoke with us. He must be our helper. He must be the one who's gonna go with us in whatever kind of hard labor, whatever kind of situations that we are in. And the secret of for the burdens and weariness to go off is to have a yoke with our God. And it means that, having a yoke with God, meaning to do things together with God. Don't do things just on your own. The promise of the Lord is, do things with me. Don't take it by yourself. And another one is to walk our journey with God, to fight the battles with God. Most people, one thing that I realize, the more we try to do things on our own, the more and the heavier the loads would be. Habang mas pinapasa natin yung hirap, mas lalo natin kinakaya yung problema in our own. You know what? the loads is getting heavier and heavier. You know, the promises of the Lord and the promises of the Lord for those who believe Him is not for you to carry the loads on your own. Because there is a God, there is Jesus, who is very much willing and capable to help you in whatever situations, whatever kind of loads, whatever kinds of trials that you're having right now. Kapatid, wherever you're listening right now, the promises of the Lord upon you, He's going to give you rest. He doesn't want you to be full of burden and weariness in your life. Because the reason is, God doesn't want you to suffer from those things. The promises of the Lord is going to give you rest. Maybe right now, as you listen to these wonderful promises of the Lord, maybe you are in a deep situations, you are in difficult situations right now, and it seems that you cannot carry on anymore, that you cannot move on anymore, because you've got no more enough strength left in you. You know, the promises of the Lord is coming upon your life right now. God says, come unto me. Come unto me. Come towards me, and I'm going to give you rest. And the invitations of God are not for the strong. The promises of the Lord is not for the strong, not for those who have enough things that they have, that they need. The promises of the Lord is for those who are weary and heavily laden, for those people who are heavily burdened right now. You know what? The Lord is just one call away. You know, the promises of the Lord and the presence of God is just one prayer away in your life right now. Kapatid, my beloved brethren and friends, if you are listening to this message right now, there's a great invitation that comes from the Lord. And that invitations, God is telling it to you right now. Come. Let's come to the Lord. And let's bring all the loads, all the trials, all the difficulties, all the burden that we have. And I assure you, the Lord said, that His rest will be upon you. He's waiting for you right now. Come to Him. He's ready to help. God bless you, and have a good day.